Well, there's the basic composition. I was driving down a little country lane just on the outskirts of Chelmsford City a couple of 3 years ago, and I ran onto this lovely little country lane that turned and went down into a valley, and there was this lovely old oak tree standing to the left, and I'd got all my gear with me, so I parked up sort of out of picture this way, and stood back on the grass verge and proceeded to put this scene down purely because I just like the way the road leads you in to a distance area that's held in on the right by some trees that are, they're not completely dense. You can see through them. That gives a nice intrigue as to what's around the corner. This is the thing when I paint these sorts of subjects. I think, what's round the corner? Then, of course, there's the tree itself. The sun was coming from the left, which was ideal, creating a casting shadow down the bank, across the road, up the bank the other side, which in turn darkened these trees and hedging to the right. And at the end, I did put in a shadow area from a tree that was out of picture. Now, this wasn't there, but without it, you don't get the feeling of sunlight into that middle ground. Once you put a casting shadow from something, could have been a building, but in this case, or a hedge, in this case it was a tree, and then it pulls your eye into the focal point, which is the large tree. I did put some reds into the sky. I wanted to warm that up. There were clouds. There was some blue patches. But in the distance, if you notice, I've softened that away with a wet into wet approach. But where I've gone behind this tree, I've used like very light grey colours so that this tree stands forward. These would have been quite detailed, but once you start to draw too much detail behind your focal point, then they all get pulled together really, and you don't get that feeling of depth behind that tree. So that's really purely a look at the composition of this lovely tree that I will demonstrate on my YouTube channel this coming Friday.